What's up, you guys? We got a Toyota on the lift today, and we're gonna do an oil change. We're gonna change the filter, and we're gonna put in the oil, and then I'm gonna make a separate video on how to reset the light on this bad boy. So if you guys got this little truck, it's a beautiful little truck, nice and comfortable. Make sure you maintain your truck and do your oil changes on time. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go look at this truck, and this is a 2016 model, support version, and not support like supporting something. It's nx200t. okay, so that's the exact model we got here up on the lift. So we're gonna go underneath this vehicle. Let me grab my pad, and we got our filter, a regular filter, a canister, but regular like any Toyota that I would always show you guys. We got the oil drain plug right here, and what we're gonna do is this is a 14 millimeter. We're gonna drain the oil, we're gonna take out the filter, and we're gonna put in a new filter, and we're gonna put in the oil together. And after that, we'll make a video on how to reset the light. So what we're gonna do to start with is grab your 14 millimeter, and we're gonna turn it counterclockwise. So pretty much is turning it this way, lefty loosey, righty tighty, and make sure you have a drain bucket or something that you're gonna catch the oil into. So pretty much, here comes the oil. There you go. This is our drain plug. We are gonna inspect the drain plug. Okay, so hopefully I got good lighting here, and you guys can see it all. And if you got somebody walking by with music, and we're just gonna have to talk a lot of that so you can go by, so I don't have copyright issues. Anyways, guys, we got drips. So we're gonna give it a good 20 minutes for this thing to drain out, which I'm not gonna videotape. So just let it drain out really good. But meanwhile, just inspect your drain plug. Make sure your drain plug, the threads are not bad, and make sure that little O-ring stayed behind. It still got life, so we're gonna leave that alone. So if it's a crushed O-ring, the washer, replace it. But let's give it a good 20 minutes. Meanwhile, I'll just go grab a filter for this bad boy and get the other tools ready. Okay, so it's done draining. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take our drain plug. You see how I give it a good 20 minutes, and I want to fix a flat on this vehicle. A lot of these are Zap lubes, Zippy lubes, Tiffy lubes, and they're gonna do that for you. Plus, they got millions of drain plugs in the bucket, and they're gonna pick up the wrong drain plug and put it in there, damage your threads because the threads are different. So we're gonna lock this guy up. You don't have to get crazy. You can torque it to spec, but I usually like to use my hand. Mechanic knows his hand. That's nice and snug. Clean off the extra oil. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna throw out the old oil, and then I'm gonna come back. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna remove this canister right here. Got my bucket down below, and it is gonna shoot out a lot of oil, so be careful. So you can use a 3/8 drive socket extension with the ratchet and remove this little cup over here. And there's an O-ring there. It's all gonna, well, we're using this filter 5608. That's the number, 5608 pure letter. And it's gonna come with 2 O-rings in there, and it's gonna come with a small little valve that looks something similar to this used one here. Okay, and you stick that right in the center, and that's gonna drain out your oil. Okay, so a lot of times what I do is it gets jammed up, so I don't even bother removing it. So it's still not leaking, you're good. So we got a wrench here. This is especially for Toyotas. Too much light, but there's a couple of numbers there if you guys want to look up this guy. Got this from a Snap-on guy. Comes with 3 cups and 24 millimeter. That's what you need. I'm using a 1/2" drive extension with the 3/8 ratchet with a small little reducer there, and we're gonna turn this counterclockwise. A lot of times you will find these things are jammed up, even the cup will just twist over it. That's because due to the fact some of these places do not take out your filter, and they don't want to change the filter for you. And what happens is that O-ring inside gets jammed up, and there you go. This guy is out. I'll put this down below. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this filter, and the rest of the oil just falls down. I'm looking around for my little rag. We're gonna wipe this guy down. My cup will stay there. You see that O-ring right there? If you could use like a pick or something, screwdriver, and pull this off. And we're gonna remove this guy. I'm gonna clean it up pretty good. So your new filters, you're gonna have a new O-ring, something similar to that. You're gonna put that on. Make sure you get it onto the same groove, and you don't want to stretch the gasket too much, the seal. Get it to the same groove. This oil you have in your fingers, just rub that on. That's just more than enough. You do have a little retainer over here that will stop you sometimes. And then you take your filter, put on your new filter, stick this right back on, and guess what? Bada bing, bada boom. Wiping my hands down, and we're gonna tighten this guy. Okay, once I feel it snugged, I'm gonna stop. Okay, once I feel it is snugged, and there you go. I feel it. Small little tap. Bada bing, bada boom. We're gonna wipe off the excessive oil, and that's how simple it is. If you manage to take this off, there's a small little ring, O-ring. They give you 2 of them. Put that on. But I do change those, but if it's not leaking, I don't bother it. Anyways, let's go up top. So we're now under the hood. Right here is our cap. So if you can't get that cap open, use a small little plier. It will help you. And the number is 0W20. That's what we're gonna put in. Let me grab my funnel, and this funnel goes right over here. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna put in 4 quarts of oil. Then we're gonna check. I'm doing it just like you guys, and it's a turbo, so it's gonna take more oil. So we're gonna check. We're gonna pull 4, check with the dipstick, and then we might end up putting in 5 and probably more. Then we're gonna let the engine run and check it till we're good. You can always look on the computer how much it takes. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna mount our camera right here where we can see really good. We're gonna take our oil here, and we're gonna start putting this oil into this engine. It's always a good practice to do things yourself. Just make sure your drain plug and the filter is nice and tight, the O-ring is on, and after that let the car run for 5 minutes after everything is done, meaning you have checked your oil level and everything, and let your car run for about 5 minutes so there's nothing leaking. And if there is, well, you can keep an eye on it immediately. Don't just start the engine and go away. Keep an eye on it. So Toyotas they do take the oil in slowly, so take your time with it. And there it goes. Perfect. So that's 2 quarts. Here comes number 3. Let's close this baby up. Here comes number 4. Okay. It's definitely going to be more than 4. It's probably going to be close to 6 quarts of oil. But right now, what we're going to do is we're going to pull out this dipstick. We're going to wipe it down with this rag. And it's nice and clean. Your oil should be up to that 2nd dot there. And what we're going to do is we're going to push this guy back in. And we halfway. Okay, it's halfway. So we're gonna dump 1 whole quart in there. We're gonna dump 1 whole quart in there. So this is number 5. Remember, you need a little bit of oil in the filter, so your oil filter is gonna take some oil. So make sure you add a little bit more, or double check your work. Start the engine up. Give it a good 30-40 seconds. And even that should be enough to show you any leaks down below. Let's clean this guy up. We're gonna give it a moment for the oil to go down. This 0-20 is pretty fast going down there. So we are living up north New Jersey, so that's the number we're gonna put in there. So right now we got it right to the dot. 5 quarts, and it's right to the dot. So what we're gonna do is We're gonna take this guy off. And we're gonna put our cap on. The reason why I'm putting the cap on is because right now, I'm gonna start up the engine, give it a good 15 seconds, and then I'm gonna shut it off, and we're gonna double check the oil. Now that we have run the engine, we're gonna give it a moment. All the oil is gonna go down, and they already have recirculated through the whole system. And we're gonna double check the oil. It's probably gonna be a little bit low, so we are gonna be adding a bit. Let's clean this guy up, nice and clean. Let's put this guy back in. Give it a few seconds once it's submerged. So after that, pull it up. And we're gonna get a crazy reading because the oil's all over. So we do have a crazy reading. Okay, we're short on oil, definitely. So right now it's showing me like a little bit below that dot. So I'm gonna leave this dipstick out. We're gonna open that cap back up. I'm gonna go get a half a quart. I'm gonna add a half a quart. Here comes a half a quart. A little bit more. Okay, let's put this to the side. And we're gonna give that a moment so it can go down. This is gonna be one of my longest oil change video. I'm gonna be doing a lot more videos on oil changes, and the fact that that's something that people can do at home. So right now, we're perfectly on the dot. I want to add a bit more, probably tiny bit. Bada bing, bada boom. 5.5 quarts, and that's what's looking like. A little bit more than a 5.5 quart, but 5.5 it is. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure you stay tuned to see how to reset the light. Oil light on this vehicle, and make sure you take off your funnel. Make sure you put the cap on. You never want to forget that cap on, and you never want to forget this dipstick. This dipstick can't even stick out because it's gonna suck vacuum, and you're gonna have lean codes. And I had a Volkswagen that was started misfiring. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. See you guys on the next one.